Welcome to the e-presentation of the article Homeopathy in Case of Chronic Tics Disorder. The article was published in International Journal of Science and Research in April 2018. Myself, the author of this article, Dr. Ananya Chitare, I am a MD Homeopathy with specialization in psychiatry, currently working as associate professor in D.Y. Patil Medical College, and I'm also consultant homeopath and homeopathic psychiatrist and psychotherapist at Emoticons India, Pune. So, today I am here before you to present my article, which is a case study on efficacy of homeopathy in treating chronic tics disorder. So let us see what are tics. Tic disorders are complex heterogeneous neuropsychiatric movement disorders of childhood onset. They usually occur as an intricate interplay of genes and environment. By definition, they are stereotyped, rapid, recurring motor movements or vocalizations, which are semi-voluntary or involuntary and sudden in onset. They usually involve one muscle or group of muscles and are characterized by their anatomical location, number, frequency, duration, and complexity. Usually, there is no one cause that is known to have tic disorder. Rather, it is an interplay of various biological, psychological, and sociocultural factors many times, which are responsible for someone to suffer from tics. But we can still understand the pathogenesis of tics by understanding certain aspects of biology. So it is said that due to some diffuse processes in the brain that involve corticostriato-thalamocortical pathways in basal ganglia and striatum and frontal lobes might be responsible. The imbalance between the neurotransmitters and neuromodulators are also implicated in causing tics disorder. Many times stress, fatigue, boredom, a high amount of negative emotions also are known to trigger and maintain the tic disorder. Psychodynamically, if you see, the tic disorder are considered as an unconscious hidden form of some unexpressed emotion or unexpressed conflict. Normal mannerisms usually we consider as remnants of forgotten repetitious gesture that one time express something specific, right? They continue as habitual act even though they might no longer express anything but some piece of one's past or some internal conflict. If we understand the science of homeopathy, then we already know that causes of tics are multifactorial and in general is a very complex phenomena. But in homeopathic language, it is nothing but representing the altered homeostatic mechanisms, the altered vital force, the altered mechanisms of the mind and body together, and which happens because of the alteration in the susceptibility. So what we need to do to correct these tic disorders or to treat these tic disorders is get back the altered susceptibility back to health so that the normal homeostatic mechanisms are restored. And that is why if we want to do that, it becomes essential that we just don't understand a case of tic disorder in the terms of only the symptoms of tics, but also understand the entire psychosocial processes or psychosocial stressors which might be many of the times leading to tics or maintaining the tics and making them difficult to treat. So here is a case study of a 19 years old BA student who was brought for again chronic simple tics, which were there since 6 to 7 years. Her tics were severe and allopathic physician had said that practically there is no direct cure. She was brought because she was into the process of getting married, but the in-laws backed out when they heard that the tics are probably not going to go away, and that had triggered in parents and in her to find some treatment method for this tic, and that's why they resorted to homeopathy. So when she came, the case was taken in details, and as you can see, following are the the presentation of tics, along with tics which had involuntary blinking movements of face, grimacing, and which had very typical modalities of aggravation: touch, fright, fasting, aggravation on eating potatoes, cabbage, etc. Apart from tics, she also had chronic headache, and the pain was used to be very severe. They used to be episodic in nature. Initially, they were not that much, but now since few years, the frequency has quite increased as well as the intensity. It also has typical modalities of better by vomiting, better by tight bandage, better by painkillers, and aggravated by cold air, aggravated by tension, and aggravated by change of weather. Apart from that, she had an episode, a history of episode of seizures, but that was only one. And since 1 to 1.5 years, there were extreme negative emotions that she was experiencing, lot of irritability, uncontrollable anger, with a desire to self-harm, at times suicidal ideation, on and off weeping spells. All this started after she had to suddenly take the responsibility of her entire family. And along with that, there was a constant anxiety about the health of the family members, specifically the father. Further, the case was taken in details, and it was seen that she had a good craving of sweets, ice cream, spicy. She was severely averse to sour food, and perspiration used to be profuse. She had sleep which was not very good, and it was disturbed by a lot of dreams, specifically of blood and snakes. At times, she would also get frightened and feel that somebody is lying next to her, and she would startle in sleep. Thermally, she was outright chilly. And in her cycles, it was seen that she used to have a profuse flow with dark red blood with clots, and the blood used to the blood used to stain. Apart from that, it was seen that since childhood, patient was very much attached to the father, but her interpersonal relationship with mother was strained because somehow mother didn't really love her. She would get irritable at small issues and at times also say that you're not my daughter. So the patient actually started to feel that probably she's not her daughter because no mother treats her daughter in such constant nagging and irritable way. Her father would understand this patient, but then she saw that when she would get disturbed, her father would start worrying, so she stopped expressing and sharing her emotions with father. At times, she would get so angry with the behavior of her mother that she would feel like ending her life, and also had attempted once suicide. In her school, she had good friends and cooperative teachers, but the constant feeling that she is not loved by her mother, and she just couldn't remain happy because of that, would bring on constant weeping spells and anger. Gradually, her mother's behavior from childhood improved, but still there are times where mother badly misunderstands her, and that triggers a lot of irritation in this patient. Since 1 year, patient has become highly irritable and is not able to control anger, especially after the family suffered from multiple illnesses, the finances went down, and she, being the eldest sibling in the family, had to take up responsibilities of two brothers that she had along with her parents. So that has created a lot of anxiety in her with the thought that how can she handle the responsibilities, what would happen in future, etc. She likes to be in company, she loves to make friends, she's very extroverted in nature. Her mother insisted on her marriage, and although she was not ready, she agreed for the mother's sake. But when in-laws backed out after understanding the prognosis of tics, that did not really bother her that much. Apart from that, she's afraid of high places, especially bridges. She would get anxious before exams and afraid that what if she doesn't remember things. Further, the totality was formed, and we took the approach of Bonning-Hussain method. And as per Bonning-Hussain method, when we repertorize, we get the remedies predominantly coming as natrum mur, phosphorus, pulsatilla, lycopodium, calcarea, sepia, natrum carb, and mac carb. To this, we apply the potential differentiating field, that is thermal stimuli, and dreams which are frightful, dreams which are startling, dreams of snake, dreams of blood, etc. And then we narrow down the remedies to phosphorus, silica, argentum, calcarea carb, cenchrus, medurinum, and moxol. Now, if you consider the repertorial syndrome and potential differentiating field, phosphorus is a remedy that definitely comes up strongly, considering her build, considering her otherwise the nature, which is very outgoing, likes to make friends, loves to be happy and stuff. But considering the type of build, again, but another remedy that comes up strongly is Cilicia, considering the way she wants to take up responsibility and how it makes anxious. But considering the type of built sensitivity, phosphorus has better coverage than Cilicia. Moreover, unlike Cilicia, who are timid image conscious, in this case what we have is about not the constant feeling that comes is of not being understood by her mother, not being loved enough, not being cared enough, a feeling as if she is orphan. Hence, the remedy from a materia medica understanding which could be thought of is magnesium, because again magnesium was very much coming up in the repertorial syndrome as well. So considering apart from that, if you consider the sector affinity, which is of nervous system spasms and twitches, and the kind of dysmenorrhea she gets during her periods, all this again fit with somewhere with the magnesium. And with this thought process, a prescription of magnesium phos was thought for this patient. So magnesium phos 200 was decided since susceptibility of this case is high. One powder was given per week for first 1 week, and during the follow-up it was seen that her tics had ameliorated by 20%, headaches were little less in intensity, but irritability was the same. So we continued the same on the next week, that is 20 June or 20 July 12, and we saw significant improvement. But what happened is even in August we saw that the improvement was persistent, but tics were still increasing when in stress. In September, when she came again on the same potency, same prescription, it was seen that tics were status quo, and rather she felt them to be increased a bit. Plus, headaches also occurred in the previous week, and that's why we thought of I thought of going ahead with the same prescription and see probably it could be because of significant stressors. So same prescription was given, but again when she came in September 12, it was seen that all the complaints were SQ, and that's when MacPhos 203 powders, that is I increased the repetition, and it was given for 4 weeks. So after that, tics were almost gone, hardly noticed for once or twice in entire period of 4 weeks, and there were only 2 episodes of headache with hardly any other issues. No, and that did continue. That amount of betterment and improvement did continue for a long time. So the tics of this patient, if you see, were very well brought under control, which were very severe by MacPhos 203 powder. The remedy registration is not just seen at quantitative plane where we see amelioration of tics in intensity, frequency, amelioration of headaches in intensity and frequency, but we also see the irritability being significantly reduced, which is a qualitative registration of the remedy. At the same time, it was observed that stresses what were there with the related to mother, financial condition, they were all very much there in the environment, which were the maintaining causes for her tics. But now her adaptability to those stresses had been improved, again indicating that the remedy helped in altering the susceptibility and bringing and restoring her overall state from illness to a little bit of health. Hence, constitutional approach in this case helped the patient not just in tics but also to improve her quality of life and maintain it although the environment was unfavorable. So thank you everybody. This was a quick presentation of the article that was published. Thank you so much, and signing off here, Dr. Ananya Chitay.